Hey lovelies, it's Bronte Spicer. Just waiting to check that I'm live before I start talking properly. Yes, awesome. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, um, I help parents and teachers instill powerful mindful tools and strategies so our families can be free of anxiety and depression. So today I want to talk about this idea, well, this experience of when you feel like you can't feel anything, when you're numb to your feelings, you know you have pain and the past to process and to to deal with and to manage, but you don't really know how to access it. You probably perhaps you have like pretty significantly unhelpful thoughts that you're hearing in your head, and your head is really busy and loud and very chatty, and you really just want a bit of peace and quiet in your mind. So I'm going to explain trauma, dissociation, integration, and pleasure today. So, and this is all coming from my own personal experience and then my professional experience supporting lots of people with anxiety and depression and shifting out of that so they're free of mental illness. So, first of all, I want to explain why we end up being feeling numb and feeling like we can't feel anything. And that comes from experiencing trauma. When we hear of the word trauma, we think of big things like car crashes, rape, war, um, and I don't in any way want to diminish these experiences. And I also want to add to the conversation that everyone experiences trauma. Trauma is a part of the human experience. A great definition of trauma, which is what I've put in my book, is it's an experience where it's an experience that overwhelms our capacity to cope in a situation. So when we experience something traumatic, or if you're not relating to that word trauma, you can say it's distressing. If you've had a distressing experience, in that moment, your body and mind are receiving an overwhelming amount of energy and information. So what happens is that the body is receiving information from the external environment through neuroception, it's called, which is through your nervous system. And when it comes to the brain is overwhelmed by how much information it has to process. It's almost like, I can't believe this is happening. And the brain starts to move into that survival response, which could be the fight, the flight, or the freeze response, or the freeze please response. In that case, when the brain shifts into that survival state, the hippocampus goes offline, and the hippocampus is responsible for memory, for storing memory, and for processing memory, including emotional memory. So when we experience something distressing or a traumatic, or we have a traumatic experience, we're left with displaced, unprocessed emotional memory, and it's stored as unprocessed emotional memory in the body. As a result of that, our nervous systems can get stuck in that survival response. Now, what happens as a result of that is a disconnection between the body and the mind, and that's what's called dissociation. So that's why when we are experiencing anxiety and depression, we can't really feel. We can't feel our pain. We don't know what it means to be in our bodies. We don't know how to feel our feelings. It's a foreign concept. It feels distant. It's not something that we can attain or grapple or connect with. We just know that we've got these stories in our heads, our thoughts in our head that we just want to stop. And that was absolutely the case for me in my 22-year bout of depression. So the way that we move out of dissociation and we reconnect the body and mind is through what is called integration. So, for those of you who are reading my book, you'll know that integration is that process of connecting with the feelings in the body, starting to re engage, like kind of reconnecting through wires, connecting the body with the mind. And we do that through a somatic awareness. So, bringing our attention to the body's sensations. The only way to do that is to do it in a safe way where we don't feel like we're going to be overwhelmed by our feelings or our pain. We don't want to spiral into depression. We don't want to feel like we're going to be completely blacked out or overwhelmed by our pain. So we do that in a safe way, and that's why the work that I do with my clients is a very safe, gentle way to process every part to your pain, your past, your trauma, what's happened, the stories that you have about yourself that are driving the distress, anxiety, and depression. And so what happens is when you get to this place of firstly being aware of what's happening in your body and then learning how to feel safe with your feelings, which are those physical sensations in your body, then that's what's called integration. And so integration allows that connection between the body and the mind, and you start to be able to manage the nervous system responses and any emotion that arises without it being so overwhelming that you shift your attention out of your body because it's too overwhelming. Then, once you get to a place of feeling safe with being in your body, you not only learn how to feel safe with the pain or discomfort in your body, you also learn how to feel safe with pleasure in your body. So, I have found that by shifting my work, like from coming out of dissociation to being connected with my body and then learning how to feel safe with the discomfort in my body, I've now been able to feel pleasure in my body. So when you feel a sense of pleasure in your body and it feels safe to have pleasure in your body, a sense of lightness, a sense of joy, a sense of pleasure, those good feelings, and the more that you practice the techniques in my book, It's Okay to Cry, you get to feel more pleasure in within who you are. You get to experience the pleasure of being yourself, which is very delightful. And then from that place, everything changes because life becomes pleasurable. You get to enjoy life more. You like being here. Um, Life feels like it's worth living. So if you are feeling numb, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. I was absolutely in that category. I couldn't feel anything. It is it's a natural response that the nervous system does in order to protect you from any pain or distress that's come from those traumatic experiences. And the other thing I want you to take away from this video is that there is a way to reconnect, to come out of dissociation and that disconnection between the body and the mind and return back to feeling pleasure in your body, in your life, and in who you are. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care, and I'll see you soon.